For any person to come into a courtroom, they deserve to know that they're going to be given a fair trial, fair consideration in a proceeding. So given your very public past comments, not long ago history, relatively recent history, how should a woman be entering into your courtroom thinking they're going to get a fair shake if you won't even tell us when and how your mind was changed on this? And you've now referenced twice this concern about live issues. So what item is working its way through the judiciary that may well appear on the Ninth Circuit for you to consider and rule on?
Senator, every litigant who would come before my court, should I be so lucky to be confirmed as a judge, would be treated with, man or woman, would be treated with equality, dignity, and respect.
Well, that's why we're asking this question. But what are the live issues that you're referencing that keep you from answering Senator Durbin's questions and my questions?
Senator, matters of policy and of sociology.
What is the live issue you're referencing that's keeping you from answering Senator Durbin's question and my question?
Senator, I apologize. I'm not understanding the question.
Well, you are hiding behind a, quote, live issue concern for not answering Senator Durbin's question or my question.
Senator, the live issues that you're referencing are based on certain comments.
I want to know what you're referencing.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to Right View Nation, the home of unapologetic truth, bold takes, and the American voice the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. If you're tired of the woke mob trying to cancel common sense, smash that subscribe button, give this video a like, share it with your friends, and drop a comment down below with your thoughts. Let's dive right into it, because today we're talking about yet another Democrat circus in the Senate Judiciary Committee, where character assassination is the game, and the target is anyone who dares to think independently. Buckle up, folks. It's going to get real.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, I want to follow up on an issue and comments that were raised by Ranking Member Durbin, because I've had the opportunity to take a look at Mr. Tung's background. We've had an opportunity to have a conversation via Zoom. And I know he has strong views about how other people's families should function and what women should be allowed and not allowed to do. I'll quote from Mr. Tung's previous writings. He has criticized the so-called, quote, welfare state for the, quote, disillusion of the family, end quote. He has said he, quote, believes in emphasizing family and what it means for a woman to be a good wife and partner, end quote. He has said, and I find this reprehensible, that he, quote, believes in gender roles and that women are simply better than men at some things. When these radical feminists try to blur gender roles, they undermine institutions like marriage, institutions which hold society together, end quote. Mr. Tung, can you list for us the things that you believe are, quote, simply women are, quote, simply better at than men?
Senator, again, the comments you're referencing and captured by a Yale Daily News reporter were captured over 20 years ago when I was an undergraduate in college.
Yes, I understand that, but that was 2006, not 1956. Even the year 2006, I don't think the country's mood, let alone the law, was what you're suggesting here.
Senator, my wife is sitting behind me, and I can tell you that she is better at many things, and not just some things, than I am. She worked on the Hill, she worked in the White House, and she worked for a Fortune 1 company.
So then do you still believe that women should stay home and not go out into the workplace?
Senator, the suggestion that I think women should not be provided with the same professional opportunities as men is inaccurate.
So at what point in the last 20 years, not 50 or 60, just in the last 20 years, did your mind change on this?
Senator, my views on policy matters and sociological matters that you're referencing, again, are the subject of wide debate. And for that reason, as a nominee sitting here today before the committee, I cannot
But there's a couple of reasons that bring
candidates.
this up, and there are some other issues I want to get to. But first of all, I think for any person to come into a courtroom, they deserve to know that they're going to be given a fair trial, fair consideration in a proceeding. So given your very public past comments, not long ago history, relatively recent history, how should a woman be entering into your courtroom thinking they're going to get a fair shake if you won't even tell us when and how your mind was changed on this. And you've now referenced twice this concern about live issues. So what item is working its way through the judiciary that may well appear on the Ninth Circuit for you to consider and rule on?
Senator, every litigant who would come before my court, should I be so lucky to be confirmed as a judge, would be treated with, man or woman, would be treated with equality, dignity, and respect.
Well, that's why we're asking this question. But what are the live issues that you're referencing that keep you from answering Senator Durbin's questions and my questions?
Senator, matters of policy and of sociology.
What is the live issue you're referencing that's keeping you from answering Senator Durbin's question and my question?
Senator, I apologize. I'm not understanding the question.
Well, you are hiding behind a, quote, live issue concern for not answering Senator Durbin's question or my question.
Senator, the live issues that you're referencing are based on certain comments.
I want to know
that
what
I've
you're
made.
referencing.
Senator, the live issues that I'm referencing are matters of policy and sociology that impinge on gender-related issues.
So anything that could be a topic of conversation anywhere in the country at any time will keep you from answering our specific questions. Let me move on to one more item then. Because you've been a prolific writer, not just on your views about women, but on views on American workers. My colleague, Senator Schiff, raised an incident, a Labor Day protest that you were one of the leaders of you were president at the time for the Committee for Freedom. The protest in question, protesters there had a message, quote, "End mandatory maternity leave. It hurts women." Others held signs that said, "Workers of the world, get back to work." And Mr. Tung specifically wanted to tell the Yale campus that unionized labor hurts consumers. Mr. Tung, is this you holding a sign that says union no?
Senator, that is me from over 20 years ago when I was in college exercising my First Amendment rights.
Absolutely, and I defend your First Amendment rights, but I also defend labor rights and labor protections in this country. So just as I asked with women a few minutes ago, if a labor issue is before you, how can working men and women come into your courtroom and feel like they're going to get a fair shake given your clearly strong views, not in the long ago past, but in the relatively recent past?
Senator, when one puts on the robe, the person's role changes qualitatively. And I can assure this committee, and I commit to this committee, that if I were fortunate to be confirmed as a judge, I will evaluate each argument advanced by the parties respectfully, carefully, and with the scrutiny that it deserves.
Do you recant this and your other comments that I've cited here today?
Senator Brett.
Senator, again, live issues on policy, I cannot comment.
You do not recant.
Judicial
Thank you.
canons.
Mr. Tung, and thank you both for being here. I'd like to give you an opportunity to talk about your wife again. I heard what you said about her. I know what it means to be.
So here's what went down. Mr. Tong, a judicial nominee, was put on the hot seat, not for any crime, not for corruption, but for something he wrote over 20 years ago as a college student. That's right. The woke inquisitors dug up student opinions from the early 2000s, and you'd think he had committed treason. Apparently, stating that men and women are biologically different and may have different strengths is now grounds for disqualification. Oh, the horror. Imagine believing in gender roles in a society where gender itself has become a multiple-choice quiz. Senators actually grilled this man, a well-accomplished legal mind, over his past thoughts on family values, traditional marriage, and yes, even his belief that mothers are important in raising children. These people are offended by the idea that marriage matters and family structure matters. They call it reprehensible. Well, guess what, America? That's what built this country. Let's be honest. If Mr. Tong had been a radical progressive writing about dismantling the nuclear family or replacing men with feminist collectives, he'd be celebrated. They'd be rolling out the red carpet and calling it lived experience. But because he wrote something rooted in tradition and conservative values, they're acting like he's a threat to democracy. They accused him of being anti-woman for saying that his wife is better than him at certain things. Yet the same people tell us believe all women, unless those women are conservatives. You see the pattern? It's not about equality, it's about obedience. And what about this nonsense around live issues? The senators demanded he answer questions about sociological and policy views. then got angry when he respectfully declined, citing judicial ethics and neutrality. Isn't that what we want in a judge? Someone who doesn't prejudge everything based on Twitter trends? But no, they want activists in robes. They want people who already agree with the DNC's latest talking points before the gavel even drops. If you won't play identity politics, you're deemed unfit. If you believe in merit over quotas, you're dangerous. Let's not forget the ridiculous Labor Day protest smear. Yes, Mr. Tong participated in a student protest in college. Yes, it was about opposing mandatory maternity leave and questioning union abuses. Not the concept of labor rights, but the abuse of power by certain unions. That's called a debate. That's called freedom of speech. But again, the left hates debate. They want uniformity, groupthink dressed up as diversity. God forbid a young conservative ever opens his mouth without the ACLU approving the script. Here's the real issue, folks. The left is terrified of anyone who respects the Constitution as it was written. Mr. Tong didn't apologize. He didn't grovel. He stood his ground like a man. And for that, they're throwing tantrums. We need judges who won't bend the knee to emotional manipulation. We need men and women who will defend the rule of law, not rewrite it based on activist slogans. Let me be clear, being conservative does not make you a bigot. Believing in traditional families does not make you dangerous. And defending the Constitution makes you American, not extremist. So, what do you think, Patriots? Should we let radical ideologues redefine fairness, or stand up for truth and judicial integrity? I say we back Mr. Tong and every nominee who refuses to bow to woke hysteria. If you're with me, smash that like button, subscribe to Right View Nation, drop a comment to let the left know we're not backing down, and share this video with everyone who's tired of the insanity. This is Right View Nation, where we don't whisper the truth, we shout it. Stay strong, stay free, and God bless the United States of America.